Om Namo Narayanaya.
And now, Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda ji commences tonight's satsang with this Sanskrit peace chant.
Om Purnamadaha Purnavidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Mystic song by Sri Swami Lalitananda, played and sung by Sri Swami Umananda and Rajneesh.
Our song tonight is based on a poem by Swamiji. It's called Somewhere. Somewhere, someone plays the flute and sings a mystic song that comes sweeping over the mountains by lakes and forests, dancing on ocean waves, playing with shining stars. Somewhere, someone beyond the wheel of time is singing a sweet song, and in the early dawn, as I listen, We are recording from the ashram of our revered Guru, Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda in Miami, Florida. Today is January the 22nd, 2021, Friday evening, and tonight Swamiji will be lecturing on the Tulsi Ramayana. This is series 2016, class number 236. And now Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda.
Om Neelambujashyamalkomalangam Sita Samaropit Vamabhagam Panau Maha Sayakacharu Chapam Namami Ramam Raghuvanshanatham. Adoration to Lord Rama, whose complexion is like a blue lotus. He is very tender and delightful in appearance. Sita is seated on his left side, and he is carrying powerful bow and arrow in his hands. Sri Ramcharitmanas by Goswami Tulsidas, Ayodhya Kand, and verse number is 299. Presently, its verse number is 302. Bharatu Janaku Muni Jana Sachiva Sadhu Sacheta Bihai Lagi Deva Maya Sabahi Jatha Jogu Janupai. The context in this stage is that Bharata with the royal assembly of Ayodhya, King Janaka with the assembly of Janakpur, sages, saints, and many divine personalities, they have all come together. And at this stage, Bharata has surrendered himself to Rama. But even though Bharata surrendered to Rama, it brought about a process of integration in integral yoga. What does that imply? Bharata is bhakti movement. Bhakti movement completes if there is a perfect integration in your personality between your action, emotion, will, and reason. So that integration still awaits, but this is a profound happening. A base for the spiritual movement has been secured, that Bharata has agreed to do what Rama wills. And this development in an aspirant is very profound and glorious stage of spiritual movement, even though it may not appear. All the blessings of sadhana may not be there with you. But the moment you have switched your attention from worldly goal to moksha, from bhoga to moksha, that's simple point to understand. And the world process is so ensnaring to the mind that switching from bhoga to moksha is not easy. So, keeping that in view, as we continue, we'll give you more insight. Bharatu janaku muni jana sachiva sadhu sab sachet bihai lagi deva maya sabahi jatha jogu janapai. All people, the entire assembly, are now being controlled by divine plan. And this is called Shadayantra. Shadayantra is applied both ways. If you are not prepared, not deserving, then Shadayantra will put you into the process of cycle of birth and death. You will do good karmas only for heavenly enjoyment. You can finish your enjoyment, you will come back again and do karmas. But once you secured heaven, doesn't mean that you will always secure heaven. Heaven and hell both are generously open for you. This is a negative type of Shadayantra. And just to remind you, Shadayantra is 6 points. Any conspiracy in Indian literature is described as Shadayantra. First, a deceptive plot. Figure out a deceptive plot. Next, Maya, create illusion. Next, Bhaya, fear. Threaten a person. If you don't do this, do you know what will happen? Next, Brahma, deluded vision. Deluded vision give a wrong view of the person. The person is heading in a wrong way, but you are creating a delusion, just like the role of Shakuni in Mahabharata, that you are succeeding, don't you know? Shakuni used to tell Dhritarashtra, many negative things happen, but Shakuni will always come up with a deluded way of directing the mind of Dhritarashtra. So, and lastly it's called arati, aversion. You create these misconceptions in the mind of a person. You succeed. It ends up with person has developed complete aversion. Person says, don't even talk about it. And it applies even to people who want to go to satsang. They are narrow-minded people who find satsang is taking people away from life that is normal, eat, drink, be merry, to something that nobody knows what it is. And so, by allowing these types of 6 points, people are distracted, taken away from the right course. Now the same prapancha becomes positive in the case of an aspirant. say for example, you practice Kundalini and the higher centers began to operate in your personality and you felt anahatanad coming into your ears, mystic sound. Now you develop the idea that I have awakened Kundalini Shakti. I do not need to do any more yoga or nothing. When you have developed that, but whatever little sadhana you did, God has taken notice of it. Now that God will create Shadayantra to push you to do more sadhana instead of stopping your sadhana. Soon you will find you are frustrated in spite of your Kundalini awakening. So you have two types of Shadayantra. One Shadayantra leading you to bhoga, worldly enjoyment. One type of Shadayantra pushing you to attain higher degrees of integration until you have full integration. But you are never without Shadayantra. All things are never clear before your eyes. And that's called Deva Maya. Bharata, King Janaka, sages, ministers, and wise men, they were not affected by this Shadayantra. But all others were influenced by Shadayantra. Why is it being highlighted? Because Bharata's departure will not be possible if people don't want to go back. But now people do want to go back by divine Maya. Suddenly they began to miss certain things. Kripa sindhu lakhi log dukhare निज स्नेह सुरपति छलम भारे सभा राउ गुर महिसुर मंत्री भरत भगति सब कै मति जंत्री. Lord Rama, who is the ocean of compassion, he noticed the love people had for him. And he also noticed Shadayantra created by Indra. Indra's Shadayantra, you must realize, Indra plays both roles. Those who are not qualified, they are pushed to bhoga by Indra's plot. And those who are qualified, they are pushed to practice more sadhana for attaining liberation. Devotion expressed by Bharata. Bharata is personification of Bhakti Yoga. It is that Bhakti Yoga personality had inspired King Janaka, Guru Vasishtha, Brahmins, ministers, all great personalities Their insight and understanding cannot be shaken by any Shariyantra. So they were free of Shariyantra. Rama hi chitavat chitra likhe se, sakuchat bolat bachan sikhe se, Bharat priti nati vinay badai, sunat sukhad baranat kathinai. All people were just looking at Rama, so still as if they were painted pictures. And whenever they said anything, as if they are being teleprompted. To understand. Normal mind that has not gone through spiritual enrichment doesn't have the teleprompting possibility. Normal mind simply follows the advice of ego. But now there are times when you calm your ego, no matter what ego says, and you begin to follow the teleprompting of coming inspiration, what inspiration wants you to do, what Goddess Saraswati in you wants you to do. And all this happens, and later you begin to be amazed with yourself. You did it, you said it. They are all enchanted by Bharata's personality. The whole mind is completely overwhelmed. What is overwhelming? The love, devotion that Bharata expressed. Priti, humility, namrata, vinay, the state of surrender to Rama. Or any praise that you hear about Bharata is a source of great blessing. But one has to understand, Bharata's glory cannot be described completely, is indescribable. Jasu biloki bhagati lavaleshu, prema magana muni gana mithileshu. Sage Bharata, Saint Tulsidas ji says that who can describe the glory of Bharata? Just few drops of Bharata's devotion have inspired so many sages, and even King Janaka, who is great Videha, great Jnani. Only few drops of Bharata's devotion has touched their heart and overwhelmed them. They have no more space for any more. That's what the people say. Gagar mein sagar. In a little jar, you are putting the whole ocean. One little puff of the ocean sufficient to fill the jar. Whole ocean is waiting. Simple part to understand. When we speak of divine experience, of devotion, of serenity, of inner peace, if you have even slightest degree of the pure experience, even if you drink few drops of nectar, you will become immortal. Or you may decide to drink ounces of it. You are Kumbhakarna, you will drink tons of it. But all these quantitative description applies to worldly enjoyment. For divine revelation, all these descriptions are transcended. When the sun begins to express itself, what will be the degree of light? You don't have to worry about it. Once the light has started, even a small pinch of the light, it is beckoning you to complete revelation. आप छोटी महिमा बड़ी जानी, कवि कुल कानी मानी सकुचानी, कही न सकति गुण रुचि अधिकाई, मति गति बाल बचन की नाई. In the heart of devotees and sensitive spiritual personalities, Bharata is creating such inspiration that the Saraswati Devi in your mind, who is inspiring your intellect, now coming to this state of increasing your inspiration for liberation, that buddhi, that intellect becomes so little compared to the intellect that leads to true liberation. Saraswati Devi is in a problem. What problem is there? The ordinary intellect wants to hear so many palabras, to be led to higher inspiration. And Saraswati Devi doesn't find all the palabras. That's just allegorical description. Saraswati Devi has nothing weak about her. But the idea is, your buddhi doesn't know what word to use. Your intellect, with all its cleverness, doesn't know how to describe the experience of bhakti that enters your heart. Even worldly love, when it is deep and profound, cannot be conveyed to others. It's a matter of experience. भरत विमल जसु विमल विधु सुमति चकोर कुमारी उदित विमल जन हृदय नभ एक टक रही निहारी. Pure glory of Bharata is like the full moon free of clouds, free of all obstructions. And one who wants to describe the glory of Bharata, Kavi, the poet, with the idea, let me be a historian and write the glory of Bharata. I'm joking. But what happens, he becomes dazed. The moment he comes to Bharata, suddenly his intellect becomes like a chakor, a special bird that has been waiting for the moon. But the moon shines, it doesn't know what to do. It becomes completely entranced. That's the predicament of poets and literary writers. Put it in a very practical way, all inspirational writings, the best of writings in the world, they are backed up by love of God. भरत सुभाव न सुगम निगम हूँ, लघुमति चापलता कवि क्षम हूँ, कहत सुनत सती भाव भरत को, सिय राम पद होई नरत को. Describing Bharata's nature, implying, describing the glory of devotion. Even for the Vedas, it is not possible. Vedas end up saying avarnaniya, indescribable. And Tulsidas says, and my intellect is very poor. So may the great poets forgive me. He's showing his humility. This whole Ramayana he is presenting, but at the same time presenting his humility. That people may feel that Tulsidas has described bhakti absolutely. Not so. And the purpose of bhakti, by constantly talking about Bharata's glorious personality, his virtuous quality, and listening to the praises of Bharata, speaking about him, and listening about his glory. What all this enable one to attain? Charana anurakti, love for the lotus feet of Sita Ram. Involving your mind in bhakti implies your love for Sita Ram. Sita Ram is Prakriti, Purusha, Brahman, Maya, and ultimately absolute Brahman. And anurakti, increasing devotion to Brahman, that's the characteristic of para bhakti. Bhakti reaches its climax. Then bhakti and jnana both become one and the same. Sumirat bharatahi prem ram ko, jehi na sulabhu tehi saris bam ko, dekhi dayal dashas bahi ki, ram sujan jani janaji ki. By remembering Bharata and his qualities, love for Sri Rama becomes easy. But if you do not have developed admiration for qualities that define bhakti, if you don't have developed, then you are far from loving the feet of Rama. And who could be more wretched and unfortunate who deprives himself of love of Rama? Now, देखी दयाल दशा सबहीं की, Rama observed all the feelings of people who had assembled before him. He is the knower of the heart of each one. Dharam dhureen dheer nayanagar, satya saneha sheela sukha sagar, desho kalu lakhi samau samaju, niti priti palak raghuraju. Now Rama Mahima is presented, glory of Rama. Rama is Dharam Dhurandhar. Dharma is your spiritual progress movement is like a wheel, and Dharma is the axle of the wheel. All your progress is founded on Dharma, and absolute fulfillment of Dharma is liberation. Yato dharmas tato jaya. Liberation is real victory for the soul. Rama is Dheer. All these attributes are important when you practice your japa. You are directing your mind to Rama. Instead of just keeping your mind focused on the form is the most important. But you must go one step further. Allow your mind to think of the sagun sakar state of God. He has a form, but more than form, all his attributes. Those attributes should blow like breeze in your mental atmosphere. And what are those attributes? God, He is the central core of Dharma. Rama, who is Dheer, all enduring strength. Nayanagar, he is skilled in righteous deeds. Satya, he pursues the path of truth. Sneh, his love never diminishes for any soul. Sneh, affection. Sheel, his graciousness. Rama is the ocean of bliss. So when you are thinking of God, activate these thoughts. So God doesn't just stay a palabra or a picture. How much you activate, that you don't worry. Slightest movement of the mind, allowing the breeze of glory to enter your mind. And that's the purpose behind Ramayana. Why Rama is praised again and again and again? बोले बचन बानी सरबसु से, हित परिणाम सुनत शशि रसु से, तात भरत तुम भरत धुरीन धर्म धुरीना, लोक वेद विद परम प्रेम प्रवीणा. And now Lord Rama spoke to match up with the condition, the proper situation that has been brought about through all these changes that have occurred. Rama spoke befitting the occasion. And his words were like the nectarine rays emanating from the moon. And what did he say? O child Bharata, you are the very axle of the wheel of dharma. And you are well versed in love, in theory and in practice. Karam bachana manas vimal, tum saman tum tat, guru samaj laghu bandhugun, kusamay kimi kahi jaat. O child, it's a loving word for Bharata, his younger brother. Who is there who can equal you in your deed, in your words, in your mind? You excel everyone. You are incomparable. In this assembly of elder personalities, for me to go on praising my younger brother, that may not be considered suitable. Rama shows his own helplessness. And that gives you a subtle indication of God's attitude towards the devotee. Janahu tat tarani kulaniti, satya sandhapitu kirati priti. Now he is giving instruction to Bharata. O child, you know well the path adopted by the solar race, Surya Kulkiriti, implying it is the path leading to Uttarayana, Agni Shukla. That's the Raghukul Kiriti. And all those who have come in this line of Raghu, they are Satya Pratigya. They follow their word. Once they have made a vow of pursuing the path of truth, they will not waver. Pran jai bar vachana na jahi. They will give up their life, but will not contradict the words they have uttered, the words of vow, words of resolve. So, right now, O Bharata, you continue to promote that Raghukul Riti, and continue to promote the glory of our father Dasharatha and his love for us. As well as the need of society and the role of Guru. And you are the knower of the minds of people who are in different stages. Tumhahi vidit sabahi kar karamu, apan mor paramahit dharamu. You know the duties people must perform. You are the knower of their duties. And also know what is best, pleasing for me. Though you know all this, still, according to the need of this period of time, according to the need of all these people who have assembled here, I am going to utter my words. तात तात बिनु बात हमारी, केवल गुरुकुल कृपा सम्हारी. O Tat, O Bharata, in the absence of our father Dasharatha, it is Guru who has sustained us. So, let our Guru give you directions, be the ruler of Ayodhya under the guidance of Guru. In other words, when Bhakti Mahima has been described, to secure Bhakti devotion, Guru Bhakti, Guru Seva, turning to Guru's guidance, that's being brought in this context. In order to have Rama Mahima, enjoy the glory of God, you have to pass through Guru's role, being guided. Guru Govinda dono khare kaake lagu pae. The Guru and Govinda both come together. Then first, Kabira says, we'll go to the Guru first. तात तात बिनु बात हमारी, केवल गुरुकुल कृपा सभारी. न तरु प्रजा परिजन परिवारु, हम ही सहित सब होत खुभारू. In the absence of our father, his Guru Kripa has sustained us all. If that Kripa was not there, all our subjects, family, all of us would have been as if destroyed. ज्यों बिनु अवसर और अथवा दिनेशु, जग के ही कहु न कोई कलेशु. तस उत्पात तात विधि कीन्हा, मुनि मिथिलेश राखी सबुलीन्हा. When the sun were to set, not at the time of sunset, but abruptly, who will not be experiencing torture in the world? In other words, all things have their time, place, the law of spiritual evolution, everything has a definite pattern. And that pattern cannot be disturbed. And that's divine law. And Dasharatha's death was as if going to destroy that divine pattern. But then who helped it? Sage Vasishtha and King Janaka. Raj kaj sab laj pati dharam dharani dhan dham Guru prabhav pali sabahi bhala hohi parinam. If you follow the guidance of Guru, then all that is needed will be attained by you in an effortless manner. What are the things needed in every soul? Here, speaking in the storyline, all the duties of a king, Rajyakarya. Mystic line, your soul is the king of kings, and performing swadharma in a right way is attending on your kingship, lordship, speaking allegorically. In other words, performing duties in the spirit of karma yoga. Lajja, the role of modesty. Pratishtha, honor, prestige. You can see how the words sound: prestige, pratishtha. Dharma, earthly attainments, wealth, residence, all the details that your personality needs. It is Guru who will promote all this. His grace is beyond imagination. And the end result will be divine. At this stage, it's also the verse point out to the role of pashas, 8 fetters that obstruct your soul's movement. And approaching Guru and going under the guidance is meant to remove those pashas, sublimate them. Just to reiterate those pashas: grina, hatred, constant hatred in the heart. You can have hatred in palabra, but not in your heart. Keep it in the tongue so that you can spit it out. Lajja, the type of modesty that doesn't want you to do sadhana. Bhaya, fear. Shanka, doubt. Jugupsa, gossiping habit. Kul, pride of the hereditary line. You belong to such a great person, your grandfather, great-great-grandfather. Your Dvivedis, Trivedis, Chaturvedis. And Sheel, courteous manners, courtesy that is well designed, courtesy for attaining the object that you desire. And finally, the class in which you are born, Kul, Sheel, Jati. Hereditary line, the family tradition, and the order, the Jati like Kshatriya, Brahmana, Shudra, and so forth. These 8 points continue to limit human mind. They are called fetters. And when your mind is limited, you become Pashu, animal. When you shed these fetters, you come closer to Pashupati, Shiva within you. So therefore, all over India, wherever you go to any temple, meeting a guru or a sage requires Sastanga Pranam, falling prostrate, allowing 8 parts of the body to touch the floor. Don't go into mathematics, but try to follow the insight behind all these traditions. By doing that, you are making a sankalpa. Oh, sage, I am willing to sublimate all these. These are all short-circuited energies. And now have come, let your grace remove these short circuits and allow my soul to be blessed. And with this I will be concluding. These are a lot of details. Om. Om. Ram, 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 Ram. Ram, Ram, Ram. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om. Prayer for shower of Karunamaya Ras grace of God over all of you, with the blessings of Shakti, Bhakti and Mukti. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukum Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiyama Mritat. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat.
Are there any questions this evening? Then we conclude and rejoin Swamiji tomorrow night for guided meditation at 7:30.